Hi, welcome to this screencast. I will show you how to use the new product of Vaizr, which is a REST API. And with this REST API, we built a new REST interface around the Asai application. And I'll show you a little bit how it looks like. We also generate the documentation with it and also generate a test API, which is basically a MVC client which runs in the browser. I'll first start the browser. I'll do it as Firefox this time. And I made a bookmark. Let's see, bookmark Asai REST API. What you see here is the documentation. And we started off with Swagger. I will go into detail in that, but we stepped away from that for two reasons. The Swagger client didn't always work, especially the Swagger client had problems, or we had problems to connect it to our OAuth 2. But the other reason is that the documentation within Swagger is put in the source file, which sounds convenient, but even more convenient is the way how the REST framework of Spring resolved it. They put it in the unit tests, which separates the documentation from your code and also gives you the possibility to make more unit tests with more documentation tailored to specific situations. The documentation which is generated from the unit test you see here, so you see all the parameters and things like that, and you can also describe it. And we have a general documentation which is put in front, which comes totally with the framework. It's written in ASCII doc, I believe. Here you see the different versions, the verbs which are used, the status codes, and also the paging we implemented. Normally it's 50, page number, the master detail, how that works, and date fields, authorization, password, grant type. As said before, OAuth 2 is implemented, so you can go here, and here is the authorization server, and the resource server, and the client app, and of course your real client. I'll show you the Swagger specification. It's a big JSON file. If I show it you in Firefox, and I didn't put in a proper plugin, it looks like a real big file. But if I put it, which is barely readable, but I put it in Chrome I installed a little plugin for Prettify JSON. There it is, and here you can totally see the Swagger file. Why did we do this? There are several REST APIs, REST API clients, I should say, which uses input a Swagger file. So if you have a REST API which uses a Swagger file, a REST API client which uses a Swagger file as input, here you have it. But I'll close this one off and we go back to Firefox. We go to the AP Explorer page. We didn't implement all the functions, but we did some here. Of course, you can go back to the documentation. What is this one? But here you see authentication. This is the OAuth 2, one said before. We will go that in detail. We will go there. We have a page where you can store your variables. We have 4 different functions here. We won't use the object key controller today. And then there is a 5th one, but that's a long list. It's all the list of values. But let's start with authenticate. We have to get an access code. And for an access code, we have to log on. We log on to Asai with our Asai credentials. and assign the API application will not get the credentials, but it will get an access code or an access token. So we log in. It's okay. And now we go here. We have the access code. It's stored here on our session in the browser, so we don't have to copy it, but we can see it. We have the variables, also still empty, but the variables we got filled with the LOVs. We will use 3 LOVs, the one for projects, the one for classes, and the one for entities. Okay, let's start with the classes. Run classes, and we're looking at how many did he get. We're looking for the sign. It's number 1, but we copy the variables and we say next, next. Oh, this doesn't make much sense. We look for the class code, we go back. Class code assets, no. Class code correspondence, no. Class code design, that's the one we need. Non-document, now we go to design and we copy the selected and we close it. Now the selected variable is copied to this thing, to this JSON global variable placeholder, I would say. So we're finished with the classes. Now we go to entities and we're looking for the entity door, and we copied variables, and here we can go through. I'm looking for door, I said, the entity code, and I'll say in a second what door stands for. There is door, and we copy it, and we close it. Now we have the entities. Yeah, the entity door stands for document revision. Now we go to the project. We use the project demo. Sorry, now the project code has to contain demo. We run it. We copy the variables again. Copy the variables. We have to find the demo project. There are 3 actually. What are the others then? Oh, it's demo 2 and it's demo copy, but we go for demo. Copy the one and close. Now we're all set. We're going to search for a document, and I stored the document before, and it has to do with this subject, of course, so in document controller, and the document is called API demonstrator. Search for the document, we get the class sequence number, we get the project sequence number, we get that from our variables. Our variables are here, so the class code is defined, so the sequence number is 1, project code is demo, so sequence number is 434. So we say copy from variables, and there you see it's filled 1434. But that's still a lot of documents, so we also will set the description. And here is the description, and we say AP demonstrator. It's not case sensitive. That's not the bar. Let's run it, and we get 1 document. Once again, we copy it to variables, copy selected, there's only 1, close the thing, and now we go to the document revision. We copy the one from the variables, there it is, and we run. We don't know the revision yet. There's only one revision. Copy to variables. It's only 1. Copy selected. Close. Let's look in the variables right now. Here you see there's our sequence number, doc sequence number, demo, door, design. It's all in there. Now go to the files. Null controller set. Now we need the entity sequence number. And now copy it from variables. That's from door, that's the entity sequence number, and we need primary key sequence number, and we need it of the document revision. We call it from the revision. It's docs sequence number. That's the one. Sorry, the door sequence number. This is door. This is the sequence number. We go for that one. We run it. And now we have one. Now we have the file sequence number. We can copy it to variables. It's file sequence number. Copy to selected. Close. Now we go to download. Copy from variables. There it is. Now we run it. And here we have our file. We open it. And this is the file I stored before I run this show. I hope you have a good impression of our very strong and sophisticated Vazr tool. Thank you for your attention. See you next time. Bye.